it's Renee with Delaney Jane Cards. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making a wedding card with a bunch of different dies and some really cool textured paper. This paper pad by Pink and Main is called The Shore. I looked and I couldn't find it anywhere. I don't know if they're sold out or what, but you could just use some really cool texture like photoreal texture paper. And then here I'm showing all the different dies and stamp sets and paper and stuff that I'll be using. There's a ton of it, and that says Nellies, by the way. It's just rubbed off. Lots and lots of dies, lots of details. Sometimes the edging on dies can make the difference, like all the difference. So I did all of the die cutting off screen, and I had die cut this little bowl from Mama Elephant, and I just like bent the paper on a paintbrush handle just so I could like manipulate it so it was more of a loop instead of flat. And I did put that together apparently off screen. And then the honeybee Mr. and Mrs. dies are layered. And these were big. Like everybody had them, wanted them. They were a must-have item for a long time. I haven't seen them in a while. I'm sure they're still available because I don't think they came out with anything else. What I did here is I die cut the actual words out of primitive white cardstock. So it's not really white. It's not really cream. It's got like specks in it. Then I used brown for the shadow layer. And then these dies have like a pierced second shadow layer, and I cut that out of vellum. And then I used that same primitive white cardstock to cut a circle, and I took this stamp from Simon Says Stamp here, and you're not going to see the whole circle, but I die cut a whole circle. I know I don't need to, but that's why I didn't die cut a whole circle of the brown. I just didn't need to, and by that point I was like, hey, I don't need to do that. So here I'm stamping this in brown. Excuse me. And I don't have a very juicy brown ink pad anywhere apparently. And I tried several to get like a good solid impression, which I finally got. That MFT Hot Cocoa or whatever ink, that one's more juicy than the other one. I guess I could have just used that to begin with, but I used it to end with. So here's my layers. They are all from that The Shore pad. It's like a whitewashed wood grain, maybe like a burlap, and then like lights when they're blurry. So what I did here is I adhered down that strip, made sure it was straight, and then I trimmed off the pieces. I have trouble lining up like edge dies, like that Lawn Fawn scallop die on a piece of paper and making sure it's straight. So a lot of times I just die cut it and then trim it off. So I laid that down and then I adhered to my circle so that it was off the panel, and then trimmed it off with my scissors. And then I laid in my Mr. and Mrs. And I like that vellum. It gives it just a little extra detail, and it's got a neat little edge. So then I put in this bow. So we have that edge from the pinked edge from the panel, and that's an Amuse Studio die. And then the Gina Marie dies, I have that the brown circle is cut from that, and it has like a lacy edge. And then there's some stitching on the strip that goes across. And then there is stitching on the scallop, and we have the pierced detail on the Mr. and Mrs. There's a lot of details going on. When I laid this panel down on the brown, it needed something, and I was trying to figure out what went really well with this. And it was that peach. It's like a woven design. It's kind of a pinky peach color. I really liked how that looked. Anything would have looked fine, but I thought that went well with the primitive white cardstock really well. Brought out more of the not white tone, I guess, maybe like more peachy. It also looks really good with the brown. This blue that's on the back of the panel would have looked fine too, but I think this was the last full sheet of that. I'm getting to the end of that paper pad and it makes me sad because I like that one, but it is good to use things up and get them out of your stash. So here I folded my card base and I score and fold and then I flip it the other way, and that allows me to put it in my MISTI and stamp my sentiment. So I put it in there and lined everything up. Who is yelling at the screen right now going, I know what's wrong? Because here's one of the things that, I always make these really stupid mistakes. I just get going and don't realize what's really going on. I'm not really paying attention, or one of the many little people that are around here has asked for something. Well, I still couldn't get a good impression with brown, so I pulled out another brown ink pad here to try to get a good impression. I'm still pleased with myself until right about here. I stamped this the wrong way. Why didn't you tell me I was stamping it the wrong way? So that meant that was junk. It's not really junk. I did stick that card base in the back of the stamp set, and I will make another card and use that. It's not really junk. So instead of cleaning my stamps, I got this time it says stamp like grid sheet out, and just put my stamps on there so I can line them up on my card base that's going the right way. And I inked that up, and this time I got a pretty good impression. I don't know why all of a sudden it worked fine, but then I did go over it with this like chalk ink color box. I don't even think they make those anymore. I think I heard that they weren't. It kind of softened the ink up just a little bit. I reinforced my crease, and then I adhered this to my card base. And there is my card for today with tons of texture, lots of dies, a little bit of stamping, and lots of love, and maybe a mistake or two along the way, but that's what you get to see here all the time. So here's some still shots of the cards. You can see the inside and the cute little details. That little bow is so sweet. It's just adorable. That's a mama elephant. And then here, how true is that sentiment? To love and be loved. I just absolutely love all the details that went into this card. I think it is fabulous. I really hope that the bride and groom that do receive this enjoy it. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope that you have a great day. And as always, give cards generously. Bye.